Hey Frag fam, what is going on? I hope you guys are all doing well today. Elliot here and welcome back to the Fragrance Well. It is time for another edition of the weekly fragrance rotation for myself. Let me preface this video by saying I hope you guys all had a good and productive week. So as you can see in the title, I kind of themed this weekly wear around longevity fragrances, and that's because I actually wore the majority of the fragrances I wore this week, should I say, do have some pretty good longevity on them. Now, that wasn't necessarily by design, it just kind of turned out that way, but I'm making that the theme of the weekly rotation. All right, so I got 6 fragrances for this weekly rotation. 1 fragrance was worn 2 days out of the week, and I didn't do any double wears on any days of this previous week. All right, so let's go ahead and get right into it. But before we do, as always, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you do like the content, and please hit that bell icon, enable notifications so you can be notified when I upload new videos. Let's get into it. All right, so the first fragrance coming up was for Sunday and Monday, and that's gonna be from Nishane, and it's Hacivat. Nishane Hacivat. You know, this is my second favorite fragrance in my cabinet right now, right behind Ganymede, and this is a fresh citrus dominant pineapple fruity fragrance with a really nice dry oak moss and cedar. I absolutely love this fragrance. I think it is great for warm weather, and it has been certainly hot recently, so this is just a great time to wear this scent. But you know, granted, I do think it's one you can kind of wear whenever. This fragrance does have signature scent vibes to me, even though I don't really talk about it that much in that way. All right, so for Sunday, this was basically a travel day. I was on the road literally the entire day. I was out of town, which actually is why I had that previous break in my fragrance uploads. I had like a 5-day break with no uploads, and that was not intentional, but I had to go out of town for a family member's funeral, and I was traveling back on Sunday. I bought this along to either wear to the funeral or just to wear on one of the travel days. This one ended up being the one I wore on the travel day, and it was a 10-hour drive. Got back and immediately basically had to go to bed and get up at 3 a.m. to go to work. So that's why this was Monday's scent of the day. The fragrance was just kind of already out. So I just was like, I don't even want to wake up and think about it after, you know, traveling for so long. I'm just going to wear Hacivat again on Monday. So I wore it to work. Actually got a compliment from one of my patients on Hacivat. So, hey, that's a good deal. And yeah, but Hacivat is a fragrance I have no problem wearing at any given time. And by the way, you know, as I stated with the theme, all day fragrance, easily. I think I sprayed this twice for the road trip home. Could still smell it by the time we got home. So once again, from Nishane, this is Hacivat. Next fragrance coming from Roja Parfums is Isola Blu. Roja Parfums, Isola Blu. Come on, focus. There you go. And this was the scent of the day for Tuesday. Now, this one is not beast mode. This one is not a super long-lasting scent. I do give it more credit than I think a lot of people do. Some people may say this is like a 4 to 6 hour scent. I give it 8. I give it 7 to 8, but it does start to get a little bit closer to the skin. And honestly, you can smell it on your skin past that point. But I mean, it's a skin scent at that point. Anyway, this fragrance is citrus dominant, really good lemon lime like citrus characteristic in there, and I think some grapefruit like characteristics are in there as well. Citrus dominant scent. It's pairing with really nice aromatic features, kind of this lavender thyme quality, and it's accompanied by this really nice clean woody base. You know, kind of a collection of woody notes, maybe some earthy notes, probably some other stuff in there. You know, it's a Roja fragrance. They list a million notes, but I just kind of chalk it up to being a clean, woody, and slightly musky base. But the fragrance is citrus and aromatic dominant, and that's what I love about it. So again, this was for Tuesday. This was another work day, and it wasn't like a ridiculously long one. So I wanted something that wasn't, you know, I didn't need it to be beast mode for that day in particular. And honestly, I just wanted to wear this. I've been wanting to pull this back out. And usually when I like to wear it, I like to wear it for work stuff for the most part. And yeah, so the fragrance just worked out well for that. And again, this is not a beast mode scent. This is not a longevity fragrance, if you will, but it is an excellent one. And it is one of my favorite citrus dominant fragrances in my collection. So once again, from Roja Parfums, this is Isola Blu. All right, let's move on to Wednesday's scent of the day, and this one's coming from Lorenzo Pizzalia. This is Sun-Gria. Lorenzo Pizzalia, Sun-Gria. All right, so this is a play on a sangria. It's a very bright and fruity, almost tropical take on a sangria. You got fruity notes. You got this really nice spicy quality in there. You could say it's kind of like a cinnamon clove spice combination. There's definitely some citrus elements as well, which is definitely important for a sangria. And you do get the red wine like element there too. You do get some sweet notes. I don't know if I would call it ambery per se, but you do get some sweet notes in there. But you know what? It's not overbearingly sweet, which I do appreciate about it. So what did I have to do for Wednesday? Wednesday was a long travel day for work. I had to drive 6 hours. It's really 6+ hours just because I have to stop for gas with my company vehicle to go to my work site for Thursday. So this is basically a long travel day. And also when I get there, I still have to install my equipment too. So this was a long day. So I did want to wear this because I know this fragrance will last throughout all of that. And also I just kind of wanted to give this another wear to kind of see where my head is at with it. Fragrances like this are not necessarily my cup of tea. I will wear them, but they are not my favorite. They're not going to be something I'm going to go to often. And I do have to say, while I did enjoy experiencing this scent again, it just kind of reaffirmed that fragrances like this are just not my favorite. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not saying I necessarily want to get rid of this. This actually was a blind buy for me. I'm not necessarily saying I regret buying it, but by and large, it just further proves that these kind of fruity, really, really fruity, sweet fragrances that are pretty popular right now, they're just not my favorite. I think they smell good. I appreciate what this one is in terms of it being a play on a sangria, but other than that, it's still going to be a fragrance I'm not going to wear that often. So once again, from Lorenzo Pizzalia, this is Sun-Gria. All right, let's move on to Thursday's scent of the day. This one's coming from Xerjoff, and it's 40 knots. Xerjoff, 40 knots. So real quick, you know this fragrance if you happen to be familiar with it, which a lot of you guys, I'm sure, are. It is ambery. It is slightly aquatic. What is aquatic? Aquatic. It is sweet. It has this kind of fresh spiciness. It has this kind of sea breeze quality, so maybe a slight saltiness to it. And the fragrance it's really weird. It is very similar. Well, it's similar to Ombre Nuit from Dior, but it does have its own spin on it. There's not really a rose quality to this. There's not really a patchouli quality to this, but the amber characteristic and the spice is almost the same as Dior Ombre Nuit. Very interesting spin on that scent DNA, if you will. But this fragrance is amazing, and it is nuclear as far as I'm concerned. Definitely a beast mode scent. Longevity is a factor in this fragrance for a lot of people, and I needed it for this day. So on this day, this was an extremely long work day. So I had to drive back from that location, which I said was 6+ hours that I traveled to on Wednesday, but I also had to conduct my normal work duties before I did that, which took 8 hours. So this was an 18-hour day for me. A very long day. I was up at 5 and I didn't get home till I think like 11:30 or something like that. I can't remember the exact time. It might have been like 11 o'clock and maybe it wasn't that late, but this was an 18-hour day. To be fair, I did spray this fragrance light for work because I work around patients. It's in a medical setting. You can wear beast mode fragrances to medical settings, in my opinion, but you do not spray them heavy because at that point you are being intrusive. You're dealing with patients. You don't want to irritate them in any kind of way. The doctors are going to get pissed if you do that. You damn near might get kicked out. You don't want to do that. So I went 2 sprays on my collarbone while I was at work, and then after I left, I just sprayed 2 more times on my inner elbow just so I can enjoy the scent a little bit more. I didn't really have to do that, but I just did it anyway. But yeah, no problem with a scent like this lasting that entire day. And most people don't have 18-hour days on a regular basis, but if you do, here's a fragrance that will give you that. So once again, from Xerjoff, this is 40 knots. All right, so let's move on to Friday's scent of the day, probably more so of a scent of the afternoon or evening. Doesn't really matter. It's coming from Dar Al Tib, and this is Noon. Dar Al Tib, Noon. Now, I do believe this is the first time I have talked about this fragrance on this channel, so let me give a little bit of a breakdown of what it is. The entire inspiration for this scent is the note of sandalwood, so that is kind of the central theme of the fragrance. Unfortunately, if you look up like notes on Parfumo, that's all it says is sandalwood. there's other stuff in this fragrance. It's not just sandalwood. There's some spicy notes in here. I think cardamom is in here. There's kind of a fresh quality to the scent. There's clearly oud in this. I mean, as soon as you spray it, you get hit across the face with some oud. You kind of get a little bit of that, let's say oily / slightly earthy, maybe a splash of barnyard style kind of oud. Now it does settle after the fragrance, sits on your skin for a little bit, but it's clearly not just sandalwood. There's other elements here, but you definitely get a warm, I wouldn't even really say creamy. It's just warm woodiness to this scent. And yeah, very, very nice. It's mostly just spicy woody. That's kind of the best way to describe it. Matter of fact, every time my wife smells this scent, because I've worn it a few times since before actually talking about it on the channel, she just says that fragrance is warm. That's just the way she likes to describe it. I can't disagree with her. That's what this scent is. And even though spicy woody sounds like, a cooler weather profile, you can wear this year round as far as I'm concerned. It's classy enough. It's balanced enough. And it's not like super, super heavy of a scent in terms of the scent profile of it. Now, that being said, this scent, I do think can last all day. I've worn it a couple of times. It's last all day for me. This particular time, though, I didn't spray it on to the afternoon because I needed to go play my usual outdoor musical gig where I'm playing drums outside for like 4 hours, but I'm really out there for like 8 hours. It's like a work day. It just starts later. So if I can pick up the fragrance after doing all that, especially with how hot it is and all that and humid right now, then you got a strong fragrance. I kind of use that sometimes as a tester to see how resilient a fragrance is in those types of environments. Yeah, noon, I could still pick up by the time I got home, and I did need to wash it off. Did have to blind buy this because I couldn't find a sample anywhere, but this is an awesome fragrance that is centered around the note of sandalwood. So if you want to check out a very luxurious take on sandalwood plus some other features, this one is a cool one. I got this off of Perfumes 600. I do have an affiliate link below if you want to check it out. But it is like 200 something bucks. So, if you're a little squeamish about blind buying, don't just go and get it. But I am telling you, this is an awesome, spicy sandalwood fragrance. So once again, from Dar Al Tib, this is Noon. All right, and last but not least, we got Saturday's scent of the day, also technically scent of the evening, and it's coming from Xerjoff also, and this is Iommi Deified. Xerjoff Tony Iommi Deified, the flanker to the Iommi Monkey Special. Is that what it is? I just like this one better. Real quick, what is this scent? I tell you what, man, I still love this stuff. This is a slightly spicy rose patchouli leather fragrance. That's pretty much the gist of what you're getting. There is this slight fruitiness also mixed up in there. It's like a black leather jacket kind of scent. It's fun, but also dark and mysterious and powerful fragrance here. So 2 reasons I wore this. Number 1, I just kind of miss it. This is, technically a cooler weather scent, but I was in the mood for wearing a cool weather scent in warm weather. So that's number 1. Number 2, I did want something powerful because I was going to be playing drums and all that and be in an environment where there's competing smells. So that checks that box. And again, like I said, I was playing drums, but this time I was indoors. But you know what? They had it so freaking hot in there. Might as well have been outside. It was kind of cloudy and overcast when we got there, so it wasn't scorching hot. There was like rain in the area. So, it wasn't too hot outside, but it was definitely still humid. And frankly, they did not have it cool enough in there to feel like there was much of a contrast. So as far as I'm concerned, I played indoors, but with outside weather. So yeah, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, this is a powerful fragrance. I didn't really need to test that to see how powerful it is. I already knew this was a super long lasting scent. I feel like I might even spray too much for the car ride over, but I didn't really want to bring the fragrance with me. So I was kind of choking myself out on the ride over. But one thing is for sure, people definitely picked up on this scent if they happened to be around me. And by the time I headed home, could still easily smell this on me. So definitely had to wash it off by the time I got home. So yes, this fragrance is a long-lasting, powerful fragrance, kind of in the way that a lot of stronger Xerjoff fragrances are. You know how these fragrances work if you're familiar with them. So once again, from Xerjoff, this is Tony Iommi Deified. All right, guys, that is going to wrap up the video. That was my most recent weekly fragrance rotation. If you would like to, let me know down in the comments below what your weekly rotation was and if you had any special moments with some fragrances or maybe even some new ones you were checking out. I would love to see what you guys have to say. Thanks again for watching all the way into the end. I I really do appreciate every last one of you. Please remember to be well and smell well, and I will see you in the next episode of The Fragrance Well. Have a good one.